Guten Morgen, mein Name ist Ilona und herzlich willkommen zu meinem neuen Video. Heute feiern wir Oktoberfest mit deutschem Bier und Essen, das ich zubereitet habe. Or something like that. Thanks for the translation, Silvana. But yes, guys, today we are going to celebrate Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest. Don't expect crazy amounts of beers because none of us are drinkers, but we do have some Erdinger, which is traditional for this occasion, and also some Leffe, which I know is not English. It's not English. It definitely isn't English. It's Dutch beer. It's not a German beer. But there isn't much choice of Belgian. There isn't much choice of German beer in the UK. So basically all they had was the Erdinger. So, but yeah, we are gonna. But when I say we are, I mean I am. I am going to prepare you a feast for the eyes. We're gonna have lots of German food. We're gonna have Obatzda, Semmelknödel und Knödel. I'm gonna make pretzels. And we're gonna have hazelnut Yule logs. We're also gonna have a roast chicken. We're also gonna have Wiener Schnitzel, which I am gonna make with chicken because veal is really hard to get hold of. So, and we're gonna have some sauerkraut, which I'm not making either because it takes a long time to like pickle things. And I think that's it. Is that all the food? Oh no, curry wurst. We're gonna have curry wurst too. So I do need to get some bratwurst still, but I'm okay for pork curry sauce. But yeah, that's it. So let's get to the cooking. Alright, so the cooking is about to start. I've been baking some bicarbonate soda for pretzels. I'm just letting that cool down. I've been having a chicken soak in brine for the roast chicken, and I was gonna make now the gas was on. That's not good, is it? I was wondering why it stank. So I'm gonna start making the Knödel, and I'm also gonna start with the Obatzda, the cheese spread, the beer cheese spread, because of the fact that this needs to sit for a few hours. The longer the better. I'm guessing it's just to infuse the flavors. So I was gonna start with the Obazda. Recipes, I'll link them down below should you want to follow them. Let me try them, let me make them first, just in case they're rubbish. I can give you an idea of whether or not they're good based on how I get on with them. Just as an FYI, I'm gonna use these recipes as a rough guide, but I might season things just slightly differently, depending on what I think will go with it. For example, this recipe doesn't have mustard in it, but because we have cheese, I think some mustard may be quite nice in it, some whole grain mustard. I'll try it out first and see how it goes, but just bear with me. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to stick like teriyaki in a German recipe, but I may just switch them up using other Western European ingredients that are available, just for maybe some additional flavor that I think will go quite nicely. So I'm going to do this video a little bit different. I'm going to be doing some voiceovers, guys, and just talk you through what I'm preparing, because I'm doing a lot of cooking and not a lot of talking. And at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some facts about Oktoberfest that I won't even know about until now either, because I'm doing the edit now. I started off with making the Obernezza because I just wanted to get that out of the way, get it chilling in the fridge so that all the flavors could infuse. And Obernezza is basically a beer cheese dip. And what you use something like a Dairy Dunker, or not Dunker, that's the little tubes, a Dairy Square triangle even. And you use some La Vache qui rit, some sort of like mild spreadable cheese like that, as well as some equal amount of brie or camembert. You mix it all together with onions, with parsley, smoked paprika, a bit of pepper, and a bit of onion and chives as well. Mix that all together until it becomes a smooth, a thick, gloppy paste. And what you do in order to get it all to mix together is you thin it down with white beer so it becomes a smooth consistency. And then you leave it to chill for several hours before serving so that all the flavors can infuse. I also ended up putting mature cheddar in mine, as well as some whole grain mustard, because it just lacked a bit of sharpness. The flavor was nice, but the adding of the cheddar and the whole grain mustard definitely took the dish to another level. Next I go on to the Semmelknödel. which is basically a bread dumpling. I did mess this up, which you will see later. But so what you do is you get some bread rolls and you leave them on the side so that they go very hard. Then at this stage, what you do is you pan fry some bacon if you want. It's optional. You pan fry some onions, but you only glaze them so they don't brown. And then you get some warm milk, some lukewarm milk. Chop the bread into small chunks. Mix the ingredients together, you season it with salt, pepper, nutmeg and fresh parsley. Put it to the side for a little bit so it can congeal properly. And then basically what you do is you form them into little balls and boil them. Mine fell apart. I don't know why. Oktoberfest is actually quite a misleading name because the event happens in September, or the majority of it. It started in 1810 and it would take place in October, but as time progressed they moved it to September because the weather would be a lot nicer then. Try a little bit of the Knödel. Very, very nice. I'm looking forward to boiling that up. Let's make some pretzels. I'm well excited. Here we go on to the making of the pretzels, which were a huge success. I highly recommend following this recipe. It's pretty easy to follow. What I started doing is I started off by weighing out my flour, weighing out my butter, which I melted, weighing out my sugar, blending it all together, my yeast, fast white yeast as well, blending it all together, and just spent a solid 10 minutes or so kneading it until I could feel the texture of the gluten. You know, you can feel in bread, if you start kneading bread, you can feel how the consistency starts changing and it becomes more elastic. What you do with pretzels is that you let the dough rise and then you form it into the shapes, you let it rise again, and then you have to boil the pretzels for a couple of seconds, about 20 seconds each side, in some bicarbonated water, but the bicarbonate of soda needs to be baked. I don't know why, it just said in the recipe that this was crucial. If you don't do this, the pretzels basically will brown. So it's the baking goes quick, the prep goes quick, but there are a lot of steps in the making of pretzels. However, I got around 8 or 9 pretzels out of this particular recipe and they were delicious. Here I am making the Yule logs, the biscuits, the hazelnut biscuits, and honestly I kind of struggled with them because I followed the recipe and the dough wasn't very pliable as per what the recipe was recommending, so I ended up having to moisten up my dough a little bit just so that I could work with it, so I could shape it. The taste was very nice though, but I don't think they came out the way they should have. But then cookies aren't really my forte. Would I recommend the recipe? Probably not, to be honest. I mean, they were nice, but I think there's probably nicer cookie recipes out there. During Oktoberfest, the only beer that they will serve is Munich beer, because it's a celebration of Bavarian tradition. It's a 204-year-old tradition that wasn't actually a beer festival. It was held to honor the marriage of Prince Ludwig and Teresa of Saxe-Hildburghausen in 1810. And that's what you call a wedding party. It's been cancelled 24 times, mostly due to war or cholera epidemics. Right, so I've made some, but I didn't make bratwurst. I pan fried bratwurst. The little logs are done, as you can see now. I'm boiling water for the pretzels because here is my dough. I need to figure out what temperature the oven is supposed to be on because I actually turned. Oh, it's not yet. I don't have to do it yet, but they said to block out the air. I also have to, now I need to put them into 8 portions and shape them and put them on an oiled parchment paper here, which I'll move over there. Yeah, and just shape them and then boil them 20 seconds, put them on the parchment, rise them for another 20 minutes, and then they go in the oven. Next, the pretzel dough has finally risen. It took about an hour and a half, something like that. I actually ended up sticking it in the oven at a low temperature just so it could warm properly, because there's not often a lot of warm places in my house. But what we're doing now is we're just shaping the pretzels, which is super easy, and then we're letting it rise for a last time. You put once you've shaped the pretzels, you put them on parchment paper that you have slightly oiled so that they come off easy. And then what you'll do, once it's risen again after about 20 minutes, half an hour or so, you then boil them in the bicarbonated water. The locals call it Wiesen. It's called after the Theresian Wiesen, which is the name of the land where it takes place, and is also named after Therese, the princess that was married there. It's pronounced as Wiesen. I am just putting the pretzels in the oven just to rise for another 20 minutes. The oven's not on, but it still has some heat in it from where I've cooked earlier. Because everywhere else in the house, I can't really put a tray down like that, so it's just kind of going to be a bit too cold. So 20 minutes, and then after about probably 10 minutes, what I'll do is I'll get them out, put them to the side, get that water to boil with the bicarbonate. But the reason why you want to boil them first in bicarbonate of soda for a couple of seconds, 20 seconds each side, is to help it brown. If you don't do it, the dough will not brown. So I'm basically pretty much done. The only thing that's left to do is making the schnitzels, which I'm about to start preparing the chicken just to get it thin enough. And my husband accidentally bought brioche buns. I told him to go and get bread, any form of bread, but he got brioche, which is okay. We'll just have brioche flavored schnitzels. So yeah, let's go make some chicken. As you can see here, I pan fried my bratwurst and I cut them into bite-sized chunks, which I will cover with curry ketchup before serving and just heat them through. And what I'm doing next is I'm preparing my chicken breast for schnitzels. Schnitzels? I said that weird, sorry, schnitzel. Obviously you can't just have whole breasts for a schnitzel. You can, but you kind of want the meat to be maybe, I don't know, like half a centimeter thick, maximum a centimeter. And then what I did is I made a mixture of flour, salt and pepper, covered the breast in that before dunking them into beaten up eggs with milk, and then I put the breast into a mixture of breadcrumbs and parmesan. Would I do something different here? Yes, I think next time what I would probably do is maybe put some mixed herbs through the parmesan and breadcrumb mixture. I think that will just give it just a little bit of extra seasoning, a bit of extra flavor, a little bit of a nicer twist, but they were very delicious. During Oktoberfest, traditional visitors wear Bavarian hat, Tiroler Rute. The more tufts of goat hair on your hat, the wealthier you are considered to be. The schnitzels are made. I've been tasting a little bit of everything as I've got on, as you do when you're a good chef, right? Everything tastes amazing. Bratwurst are done pretty much. Just need to pan fry them quickly with some curry sauce. Chicken is in the oven, needs about another hour or so. Pretzels, very nice. And then the only thing that's basically left to do is the potato dumplings. But they shouldn't take too long. They probably take like, I don't know, 5-6 minutes to like 5 to 10 minutes to boil. But they're not supposed to boil. The recipe is very clear about not boiling the water, getting it just hot. And then simmer them. So I think that's it then. Got the beers, the cookies are done. The cheese dip is done, so pretty much finished, which is nice because now I can kind of sit down for about half an hour before I start doing the dumplings. I mean, the schnitzels are going to be a bit cold, but it's difficult to try and get it out all in time, you know. As you can see here, my dumplings sadly failed me. They fell apart and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I used too much milk, if I didn't pack them closely enough, because I kind of loosely packed them. Maybe I should have squeezed out more of the liquid, made them a bit denser. Maybe they were too small because the recommendation was to make them a lot larger than this. I thought I'd go for smaller options, but I did manage to salvage some of them by removing the bigger chunks out of a pan, forming them together and then just pan frying them afterwards, so they kind of got a crust around them. They were very delicious still, just not quite the consistency that I was hoping for. Paris Hilton is permanently banned from Oktoberfest. She went to the event dressed in a golden shiny Bavarian trindle to promote the brand of candle wine. Locals got the organisers to ban her because they were offended by how she was dressed. So hopefully throughout the video you learned some bits about Germany and Oktoberfest. And here we have the spread that I've been working on since about 9 o'clock, 8:30. When did we come back from the gym? I don't know. Well, since we've been back from the gym. So we have, which I'm going to probably say my pièce de résistance, we have homemade pretzels. We already tasted some, they are nice. We have a Hühnchen, which is like a hen, a baked chicken, which I did in a brine all night, and then I oven roasted it. So here we have the bread dumplings, but they failed. They kind of fell apart when I was boiling them, and I think maybe I didn't cut the bread small enough, and maybe not enough egg. I don't know. I've never made this before, so I'd fucked something up. But I managed to salvage them by taking them out of the boiling water, pressing them back together, and pan frying them instead. We got some like cookies that was like hazelnut and lemon. We have here a cheese dip, a cheese and beer dip. We have some sauerkraut, not made by me. Gravy that goes with, or jus I should say, that goes with the chicken. We have some homemade chicken schnitzels because I really is hard to get. And curry wurst. And of course, you always have a toast twist. So, and we've got some traditional German beer, Erdinger.
I went a little bit too much with my phone.
Alright, let's go. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Happy Oktoberfest. Or whatever they say in Germany, I don't know.
You can start,
Happy
yeah?
as well.
You're starting, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a schnitzel?
Yeah. Which one do you want?
Just give me one.
Okay.
Because I need to just like, you guys can eat, and then I'll just talk to the camera at the same time. Can I also have the curry wurst?
What's the curry shah?
What?
What's
Curry wurst. It's just like a spicy ketchup, basically. That's basically what that is, so... Whilst these guys are eating, I'm going to talk you guys through some of the flavours. So let's try some of the, what's it called? The pretzel with the beer dip.
I'll try the actual schnitzel.
That beer dip is well good. I ended up putting some mature cheddar through there because I figured it was a bit too mild. I needed just a hint of sharpness.
Oh, this is sausage.
The sausage, yeah.
Where is sausage?
This is the first time, but this is good.
Oh, that's sausage.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's chicken.
Bratwurst. I mean, the curry ketchup I had at home, I am Dutch, so curry ketchup is standard in my house. Just pan fry the bratwurst, curry ketchup, bit of water just to thin it down. The dumpling. I think actually pan frying afterwards is quite nice, but let's try some out. I mean, it's a bit soggy, that's the only thing, so.
Whoa.
Oh my god, baby. So good.
The dumpling is really nice. It's a shame it fucked up, but
It's yeah, visually it's not good, but taste
it's delicious, isn't it?
spot on.